Wow, powerful film. And I'm back with the man who chose it for us, this month's guest programmer, actor, writer, and comedian Greg Proops, whose new book, The Smartest Book in the World, is available now. What does that mean, by the way, the smartest book in the world?
I have a podcast called The Smartest Man in the World, and it's a joke. I am not the smartest man in the world.
Why do you claim to be?
My friend said to me,
Fess up. Fess up.
Do you know how you come off? And I said, no. And he said, like, you know everything.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, we'll call it The Smartest Man in the World. Hopefully it's humorous. And so we named the book The Smartest Book in the World off the back of the podcast, The Smartest Man in the World. I also have another podcast called The Greg Proops Film Club, where we show pictures like Dog Day and Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. We lean on the 70s. My wife usually picks the 70s movies, and I pick the 40s movies. I picked Gilda and The Big Sleep, and she picked Dog Day and Pelham and Coffee with Pam Grier and those kind of movies. So.
And you always write?
I've written this book. It took a couple of years. I found it to be, you know, I don't want to say it was harder than working, but I'm a comedian mostly, so to sit down and concentrate was a little difficult for me. My natural ADD and proclivity to distraction. I'd rather be watching old movies than writing about old movies.
What do you feel about the state of comedy today?
I think it's in a wonderful state. I think there's loads of great comedians. Bill Hader, for instance, who's a marvelous comic. I think the internet has opened up the field to many more people, and we're able to do our own thing. We don't necessarily need the old paradigm of show business to push us forward anymore. We can do podcasts, we can do YouTube videos, we can go out and do our own thing comedically and go directly to the comedy fans.
Now, if I could wave a wand and say, bring you back here 2 years from now, what would you like to have happen to you in those 2 years?
What an interesting question. I'm completely unprepared for that. Fortunately, I'm an improviser. I'd like to have another book written by then. I'd like to knuckle down and do a little more work. I'd also like to go around the world again. We tend to take the podcast to different places like Paris, Helsinki, Stockholm. So, and when I come back in 2 years' time, I'd like to say I've been to Reykjavik and Copenhagen, Mexico City, and maybe China as well. I'm looking forward to traveling more and doing my live show, because that to me is the funnest thing in the world, to be able to go perform live for people in different countries. Because of the internet, there's an immediacy that there wasn't before that's even more immediate than television, in so much as it's like doing a radio show. It's a telephone conversation. It's that close.
Well, I hope you will come back in 2 years.
Well, thank you.
Or sooner. You're welcome anytime. You're part of the family.
Well, how kind of you.
So we're always happy to have you here.
Thank you,
Thanks
Robert.
so much for coming tonight.
My pleasure.
Okay. Well, we're going to say goodbye to Greg right now, but hope you'll stay with us for more interesting films right here on Turner Classic Movies. And as always, they're going to be uncut and commercial-free.